Okay, guys. First of all, I'd like to thank Reem. She did a fantastic job in that third session. So really insightful, great panel. Thank you to all of them. I'm Gemma Greenwood, and thank you for bearing with us, those of you that have joined us for the whole of the summit this morning. For those of you that just joined us, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy our final session. The last session, we've talked a lot about millennials, we've talked a lot about market trends. We're going to draw on some of those trends and then talk about Muslim travellers of the future, the market of the future and where it's heading. How is it going to evolve and move on from the Muslim millennial mindset that we're witnessing today? We're going to talk about how the industry can prepare for the boom in Muslim travel going forward, and our panellists are going to provide us with plenty of ideas. So joining us today, to my left, we have Nabil Sharif. He's the founder of Serendipity TaylorMade, provider of luxury and bespoke halal travel experiences. Nabil has actually just completed a survey of Muslim millennials, and he's going to share a couple of those top-line findings with us this morning. This afternoon now, actually, isn't it? It's actually this afternoon. Next to Nabil, we have Elena Nikolova. She's an international speaker, an author, editor-in-chief of MuslimTravelGirl.com. I'm sure a lot of you know her here today. That's the largest Muslim-friendly travel site for millennials. MuslimTravelGirl.com helps Muslim travellers explore the world without breaking the bank. And then sitting next to Elena, we have Iqbal Hussein, founder of Islamic GPS. That's the world's first Islamic augmented reality app, which allows users to locate mosques and Islamic heritage sites around the world. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Iqbal is a UI UX, we're getting tech, designer and a front-end developer by trade, but he actually describes himself as an interdisciplinary design thinker. I like that. It's good. He knows how to work with many Islamic economy companies on design-led innovations, so we're going to hear a bit more from him. Last but certainly not least, we have Mario Hazi on the end there. He's the CEO of the Pacific Asia Travel Association and founder of Map2 Ventures, which is an investment fund with a wide portfolio of tech-focused businesses. So today, Mario will touch upon some of the trends in general market and the Muslim-centric travel and tech spaces, particularly in Asia Pacific. So let's sit down and have a chat, shall we? Come back to my usual seat. So first of all, Nabil, you've recently conducted a survey. Can you tell us a little bit about it and some of the top-line findings that you think are important, not just for now, but going in the future as we talk about targeting millennials and Generation Z, I guess, going forward?
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of great research out there. There's a lot of information out there for the halal travel sector. As a commercial entity, we found that there was a few gaps missing, specifically for us, and we decided to look at those gaps and how we can understand our clients a little bit more, understand our consumers a little bit more. And thankfully, when Gemma mentioned that this is going to be about millennial travel, I sort of rubbed my hands with glee because pretty much 90% of our clients are millennials. They are generally fall between the ages of sort of 18, 19, just embarking on their travel journeys, all the way through to my age, 22, 36, 37, have a kid, have a family, etc. And some of the key findings that we found is that they're not all the same. We have your younger millennials who are in a very different stage to your older millennials. We've realized there is a concept called the travel hitch, where Muslims that are married tend to travel more than Muslims that are not married. Thankfully, they get married younger.
Together or alone?
Well, I have no choice but for it to be together. But generally, yes. Once they get married, they have this additional thirst to travel. We found that generally about 76% of travelers found that discovering somewhere new is right up there on the top of their priority list, ahead of finding halal food, which was incredible. And on the other scale, we found that 1 in 4 Generation Z, so the 18 to 24-year-olds, did not travel in 2017. And it opened our eyes a little bit to say that there is a young market of millennials who have this thirst to travel, but they don't financially have the ability to travel. And the lucky so-and-sos that were born after 1996 have the money to travel and considerable amount. And it's interesting that when we compared the the couples who are married, they were spending on average around £4,600 on a booking.
Okay.
And you compare that to somebody with a family, they're spending around £4,300. And then we did a control test on older travellers, so over 55s, and they were spending around £3,000. So the older they get, the less they were spending. And at the end of the day, a lot of our findings are not just to provide data. We're coming out with a white paper on how to market to Muslim millennials, and we'll have more information on that later in the week.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank you for that wrap up. Elena, what's the big thing at the moment for Muslim travellers? I mean, you look at a lot at the millennial market, the young travellers, and also women travellers. I know you've talked about how women are becoming increasingly more influential. What are the big trends that we're seeing?
So Muslim travel will concentrate mostly on millennials. And as per such, I agree with Nabil, we separate them to those early 18s to 25s and then 25 to 35s.
Right.
Because they want
and they
totally
want
different
quite
things.
different things, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The younger generation, I find, especially recently for the past 6 months, have been young single women who are wanting to travel, but they don't have a partner, so they don't have that marriage hitch where they can go with their partner and travel. So we're seeing a lot more women-only trips, because even Islamically, you have to travel. You don't have to travel, but it's recommended to travel, for no single women to travel by themselves. So we see that there are a lot more groups. I get a lot more requests for organizing groups, or if I know groups of women who are traveling together. And there are communities. We have a community on Facebook for women who want to travel, and they find partners, travel buddies, and they start traveling. And 3-4 years ago, that was such a foreign concept for Muslim women. And now it's pretty much everywhere. And there's some amazing groups, there's some amazing experiences, and that's from the younger generation. The older generation, they still want to experience, they still want to go out. I personally prefer to refer to the term, instead of halal travel, to Muslim-friendly travel, because we've seen that there's so many opportunities to travel and to find halal, but the marketing of it is not there yet. However, there are more destinations coming available. I agree with Nabil that halal food, at least for my audience, is not on the top %. It's mostly the experience and the joy that you will find. And as an influencer, I think that's where we come in to recommend destinations that we've explored. And we're kind of like the guinea pigs at the beginning.
Great. I think we'll come back to some of the more specific experiences a bit later on. Now, Iqbal, tell us a little bit about your business and maybe trends in who your users are. Do you do that kind of research?
So I got the business idea. I was traveling as well, myself. And I think it was in 2012 I went to Istanbul. And there was a lot of heritage sites was there, but nothing available on my phone because there wasn't enough app there. So I thought, let me come back and let's create an app. And for the millennials as well, the users who use mobile phone. And also innovate as well, not just make an app just for sake of making an app. Let's innovate, put some interesting technology there in use. And so come up with augmented reality where it finds all the hidden spots wherever you're traveling, and you click on it, it gives you information, and it can navigate you there. So that was the idea of the Islamic GPS. I got that as well.
And how many users do you have?
So far now we've got about 100,000.
Right, okay.
For
and is that global? Or?
Global, yeah.
Right, okay.
But mostly, again, we got a lot of downloads from Indonesia, as you know why.
And do they tend to be younger users?
Yes,
or?
youngers, yeah. So it's for starting from age from 24 to 36, that kind of most age as well. And mostly as well, there's nowadays females as well. Like they can't go to certain places, but they can know about about the heritage, about the places as well. So that kind of information.
Sure. And it was interesting what Elena was saying. Do you think there's scope for maybe on your app, for have women-friendly places perhaps as well? Where safe to go here, that type of thing, recommendations.
Say for example, women places to pray. No, especially because I'm from London, and there's a lot of places out there. Even I don't know myself.
Yeah.
But it would be nice a female to know where they can pray as well.
Westfield.
Yeah, that's it.
That's one.
Westfield there. One. But there's many more.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah. Interesting. Now, Mario, you're in a great position because you have the luxury of knowing about the general travel market. You're in the technology space. So, be interesting to know from your side of things, what kind of trends are emerging both in Asia Pacific travel and technology, and how Asian travellers are using technology, where it's heading and how that relates to the halal travel space, because travellers are travellers. So, yeah.
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm actually glad that you're in AR and not VR, because I think VR and AR are a bit like the old beta versus VHS, and I'm a strong believer in AR as opposed to VR, mainly because the hardware I don't think are actually, very convenient at the moment. That's certainly one trend that I see now in travel and tech. But I get pitches from people who are starting up new businesses almost on a weekly basis. Enormous amount of tech startups in travel at the moment. But as I'm sure you all know the figures, 1 out of 10 businesses will actually exit successfully. Unfortunately, in travel, it is 1 in 30. So very, very few businesses actually succeed in travel. It's a lot more difficult. Most of the pitches I've seen or new ideas are different flavors of the same ice cream. They all pretty much look the same. Colors and schemes are different, and the way they're described or offer their product. I haven't seen anything really that original in the last probably 5 years. There are a few, but not that many. There's very rare opportunities that someone comes up which is something really, really different, that for an investor say, yep, that's a winner. And I find it really difficult. I don't know why travel is so difficult compared to other sectors. My focus is actually not in travel, it's in fintech, artificial intelligence, and green tech. And there's a lot more success in that area and a lot more innovations and new ideas. But in travel, I see a lot of people copying others, but just making a little twist to it. Sometimes good twist, but maybe not enough.
Yeah. And where do you see that kind of heading in the future? Obviously, you say your specialty, fintech. Are there any examples from those industries where you think that travel could be heading?
Yeah, I
or
think
could draw for examples?
There's still many areas in travel that can and should be disrupted. Travel insurance is certainly one area. I know it's related to fintech or somehow, but it's certainly an area that still need disruptions. There's a couple of other areas, mostly on the distribution side of it.
Yeah.
Anyone who understands the complexities of distribution in travel
Yes.
will see that there's a lot of middle players, a lot of them in between. And sorry for those who works for GDSs in the room, and I know some of them are our members, so need to be careful. But I think that's an area of potential disruptions also, because of the legacy systems that we still operate, specifically on the aviation sector and also in the traditional travel agency side of it.
Sure. And I guess in the halal travel space, I mean, there's still quite a lot of room for innovation there, isn't there? So, I mean, we've heard from Iqbal and what he's doing in terms of, do you think, what do you think is required on the tech front for, that market specifically?
I think it's across all niche markets and sectors specifically that there's some work that needs to be done. I like what he's actually doing here because it's helping also with education, not only for Muslims, but for non-Muslims who actually may travel and are curious and wants to know about this particular mosque and the history behind it.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of innovation that can be done in this area.
Yeah.
I think where it's going to make a huge difference in AR is when the hardware are actually a little bit more accessible. I find it a bit awkward to take my phone and look at an image of something, specifically because my eyesight is not that good. But the day that someone can come up with a pair of glasses that you don't look like a clown walking around the city, that can give you that real-time information, might actually be the big difference, a big winner for that.
We could have halal travel goggles, couldn't we?
Yes.
That would be cool. So you could be alerted where everything was, like halal restaurant ahead. I like that. Now, still talking about millennials, I guess there's been a lot of talk about how millennials are really starting to dominate the behaviours of all other demographics. So what millennials are doing in terms of travel booking, how they're travelling, is very much affecting other demographics that others are getting up to speed. So Gen Y is leading things. How have we seen this in the Muslim travel space? Are you seeing that, Nabil, like that it's influencing other demographics? You know, say the parents that used to just maybe travel to their home country are now starting to explore new places, or multi-generational travel, or I don't know, you tell me.
Well, I think younger Muslim travelers are having an influence on older Muslim travelers because they are making them think about how they travel rather than where they travel to. Because you'll be surprised at how many older Muslim travelers are actually quite happy to kind of do it themselves in a way. You know, the whole stereotype that they travel in groups and they travel, along with like-minded travelers is actually kind of fading away a little bit. We've got clients who quite happily travel to New Zealand on their own, all the way from the UK, and they're in their 60s. To me, that was kind of unheard of 5 years ago. And I think the generational gap between young Muslim travelers who have been there, done it, and being able to share that information has been a really key part of the way that Muslim travel and halal travel is evolving. One of our findings is from the clients that we surveyed and the audience that we surveyed was that sharing is such a big part of the halal travel community. They don't necessarily keep it to themselves, and they don't only share it amongst like-minded sort of age groups. They share it with everybody. So they'll come back and they'll say, Mum and Dad, you have to go here, and they'll say, okay, we'll go there, but give us a helping hand, and they almost become their support in travel, which is a very interesting development.
That actually brings me on to the role of influencers and bloggers, Elena. And what role is it playing in the halal travel space, and how is it developing?
I think it is a growing market. When I started 3-4 years ago, I was the only one. Now we have so many more. I think we do play a big role in terms of sharing experiences. Somebody mentioned before word of mouth. Well, bloggers do pretty much the same thing on a much bigger level and scale. And we are the information board for Muslim travelers. We have TripAdvisor, for example, but TripAdvisor is not Muslim specific. So we get a lot of questions, hundreds of questions a week about places to go, places to eat, mosques, halal, safety, women's safety. So we are, and in essence, we are the sounding board of what the traveler wants and what, as bloggers, we kind of create the content, because we do a lot of content creation or working with brands. And then also the guinea pigs of going and exploring different destinations. I mean, I find as a blogger, I started planning my travels based on what my readers would like to have in order for me to be able to write and share with them so they can go and experience it. Because technically, if I'm doing this full time, which I am, I have more time when I go somewhere, where instead of them who will probably travel only once a year and they will spend 3,000-4,000 to go there. And they want to make sure that it's right, whether it's a honeymoon destination or a family destination or an adventure. They want to make sure that they will make the most of it and have the best experience possible.
And how important is social media? Is it more important than ever before?
Yes.
Would you say? And where's it going to go? I mean, as I say, we've got Gen Z coming in now. Everyone's on social media.
I think social media will go way further than what it is today, because the younger generation are even more on their phones and they're searching for even more information than the older generation, because I am the older millennial generation. I'm not an 18-year-old. And we find that they are pursuing everything, and everything's on their social media. They take their news from social media, they take their travel tips, viral videos, inspirational destinations, everything social media.
Sure. Yeah, go on, quick, Nabil.
Just add to that on social media is that it's travel. It's a very important part from travel, but Muslim travelers are looking to use social media in everything they do. It's almost like it is a lifestyle element. Yeah. It's not just to travel. It's about the food they eat. It's about the people they meet. It's about the brands they're using. It's about the car they're driving. It's
customer service.
Customer service. It's about reviews. I mean, it's a complete economy. And to look at travel as just one sector of a Muslim's buying process, I think is very now, but in the future, you've got to look at that whole economy. You've got to look at everything they're interested in. They're diverse, they're pragmatic, they're advocates, they're big on social justice. You've got to bring all these elements together. And I think from a tech perspective, if you've got, let's say, you're using AR in a destination and suddenly they come across a charity project or a school or something like that, they will quite happily, find out a little bit more about that, use the AR to find out about it, share that on their social media platforms, and it'll create a whole microeconomy in itself.
And can I just mention something else? I think the younger generation will start becoming more sociably responsible as travelers as well, because we're seeing a lot of impact having on the environment.
Yes.
And all these social
Ethical
costs
travel,
and
yeah.
the ethical aspect of it. And I have started seeing a trend of people being more mindful of where they go or how they travel, and what the traveling they do has impacted the environment, the destination they're visiting.
Iqbal, I'm going to come to you in a second, but Mario, just quickly, talking about social media, and in Asia, where there's obviously a huge amount of Muslim travellers, Weibo, WeChat seems to be the thing, China in particular. How do you think we can leverage these more? What opportunities are there to use those platforms, would you say?
Yeah, the challenge is that each country in Asia tend to go on one direction, on one channels versus another.
Okay,
so
yeah.
in Thailand, actually, Line is if you want to contact anyone,
Yes.
Line is the way to go.
Yeah.
If you go to China, it's Weibo. If you go to Indonesia, it's absolutely Facebook everywhere.
Yeah.
So each countries have their own little niche social medias that actually people use. So I think the challenge for people in the industry is understanding each different markets and how they behave and which social media they use the most. But I like what you said before about bloggers being content producers. I actually like to change the terminology. I don't like bloggers.
Yeah.
Because you are actually producing content, and really, for many of you, really, really good content.
Yes.
And I think there are a few blogger celebrities out there who have millions and millions of fans and followers, but they're specialists in content. We have one gentleman in Thailand who's a foodie. I can't remember his last name, but Michael, who's really, really famous, got millions and millions of fans, goes around the world with his family and just eat and have a good meal. Take fantastic videos, and he's got his own TV show now. It's actually how celebrity he's become. But producing content and helping destinations to attract more people by sharing this content using social media.
Do you think that's the way forward? Is that going to be key?
I think, I don't know about the future, but I can tell you now, yes.
Yeah, it's a big thing, yeah.
It's all about content, videos, short, concise, 30 seconds max. People haven't got more time than that. Little teasers, but lots of them and frequent.
Great, thank you. Iqbal, so how do you see your app developing? Because we've heard a lot about ethical travel, social media. How do you integrate with all of these, and can you do more to start, integrating those, telling Muslim travellers more and more information via your app?
Well, there's never ending. We can. There's a lot of concept out there, but what we have to do first of all is, because it's a worldwide app, different audience around the world works differently. They also use mobile phone differently as well.
Yes.
So we have to be quite smart. Is how do we work in Indonesia versus how do we work in Europe, London as well? And that will get the information and make about just not the product, also the experience as well. And so that's one of the things. Another thing is, nowadays we see we can get Wi-Fi anywhere. Like yesterday when I came from Dubai, straight away I see Wi-Fi. And so everyone on the mobile phone looking for, to connect with their, loved ones, or trying to find where to book and where to eat as well. And then the food is technology-wise massive, especially in the halal industry as well. I mean, we pray though, but we have to have the right food as well, or where to eat as well. That's a quite important niche as well that I think that we can incorporate in our app. And one of the things as well, we can do this.
Brilliant. Mario?
No, I just want to follow up. Working?
Mike?
Yes. Just want to follow up on this. One of the big changes in technology is happening over the next 5 years is 5G. And what this means is actually that whatever speed you're getting today on your mobile phone, multiply that by 100 times. So you can imagine the amount of data and how fast this is going to be happening. It enables solutions like his and others to be able to actually showcase AR in HD, for example, in high definition qualities, but also to aggregate a lot more information than we are today.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to transform not only the way we communicate, but also lots of other applications. And I'd like to go back to my original comment about innovations in travel and tech. The one area which is expanding really fast across Asia and also Africa is payment, micropayment. Why should, as a travel agent or as a tour operator, why should I wait 30 days to get paid when I can get paid instantly? Why do I have to pay my bank £35 for them to take 4 days to transfer money from me to you when I can do that in an instant today?
Yeah.
So a lot of these new technologies now are expanding really, really fast. Thailand is trying to position itself as a fintech center. Vietnam is also doing pretty well. Singapore, surprisingly, is lagging behind, but catching up. And many others in Asia also are developing really fast.
Yeah, like you say, that will impact the travel space. So yeah. Okay, cool. Like to ask the panel, all of you can answer this one. When do we expect to see the impact of the next generation coming through, and what are you guys doing to prepare for that next generation, to start targeting them now, the halal travellers of the future, Muslim travellers of the future? Nabil?
I mean, I actually think that the Muslim millennials are actually a step ahead of all other millennials in a way, because the general consensus is the millennials don't have money. They're a little bit cash-strapped. They're saving up for a house. They are building their careers. But the Muslim millennials kind of buck that trend a little bit, especially in the West, where they have a high disposable income and they have this thirst for travel. So I actually look at the Muslim millennial for inspiration, how this is going to go forward. An interesting development probably about 6 months ago was where we had a lot of clients asking us, I want to integrate my travel money. So we've got a client who's traveling they're flying into Singapore, then they're going to Malaysia, and then they're going to Thailand. And they've got 3 different currencies to work with. And there are several solutions which are coming out over the next, some of them have come out, some more coming out over the next 6 months. Revolut, for example, is a great financial tool which enables you to carry one card where you can have several different currencies, and you can just use that one MasterCard wherever you go. And you almost create it like a top-up, but you have real-time Forex exchange.
Yep.
They are millennials are generally prudent. They're very good with their finances, and they're saving lots of money on Forex, and most importantly, it's convenient. So I think solutions like that is really the starting point of where us as a travel company have to start thinking forward, and we have been thinking forward. And from our perspective, we need to really consider how are they going to book in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Are they if they still want the service element and they still want that sort of real human touch, do they still want that to be integrated with a digital touch, or are we still going to have to evolve our platform to literally just book a holiday? And that starts from now.
Yeah, interesting. Elena, what do you think? What are you starting to notice in terms of people visiting your website and communicating with you in general?
I think there is a lot more demand for more adventure content and requests from younger generations.
Right.
I mentioned women before. Women are starting to become very popular as a segment of Muslim women travelers.
Right.
In their own right, because they do have the disposable income. They're working. They probably don't have a husband or they don't have a family traveling with them, but they want to explore and experience. So, creating that travel buddy will probably something that we will be doing in the future. Also creating more content for the younger generation, something that's more fun and funky and short in attention span for them to be able to, reach them. We usually, what we do personally for our website is to go back into our analytics and start looking into what people want.
I was going to say, because you need to predict, don't you? You need to be predicting now what they are going to want in the future. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I guess
just having fun with it, to be honest, because at the end of the day, traveling is for fun, for experiences, and creating that desire for them to go and explore.
Yeah.
And as a younger generation and Muslim, and I agree with Nabil, they do have that disposable income at
Yes.
22,
Yeah.
when majority of them live at home,
Sure.
to take their parents or to go traveling.
Yeah. What do Mario and Iqbal think about, how we can start looking at those travellers, well, the potential travellers, or just starting to emerge?
Yeah, okay. What I think is, it's not just that they're going for a vacation, it's going for more for experience. I mean, Nabil if you opened business about 10, 15 years ago, we have to show them on the magazine, here this place, Thailand or Malaysia.
Yeah.
Now, everything digital, even with VR as well, they can experience that as well, how it looks. And so for them, it's easy to sell.
Yeah.
In terms of the destination, it's up to them if they want to book or not. So that's one of the things, the elements that is going to evolve as well more. People, because nowadays, especially on social media, if you're looking for certain places, you can just type in, you see someone already went there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's not a single place that no one visited. And the best place to do it in social media.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that way you can find a place, you can ask them a question, and then you look around and see what you can do.
And I guess with everything being experience-led and
Yeah.
with the technology, like Mario was saying, being able to show them destinations or experiences before they go through, tech and AR, etc. Do you think that will be more important, especially through apps like yours?
Yeah, like Facebook recently or last year, they added 360 photos now. So, you can take a photo, take a selfie. Now you can take a selfie, but 360.
Yeah.
And see the scenario, what's around you as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the experience that
Yeah.
they've done that as well. So they also evolving, as a market tech lead, and then it's a good resource for us, and also for, yourself blogging as well.
Yeah.
When you go around 360 blogging, so it's going to go more further up now. There's no stopping, like I said.
Mario, anything in terms of trends or tech or anything in Asia particularly where we're already seeing Gen Z come through, or there's any innovations in trying to find out what that market wants, predict it and start targeting it now?
I think for many of them, their first travel is either with their parents or because they're actually going to study overseas.
Yeah.
And once they start doing that, they want to go and explore more. I know because we have many interns and students coming to our office on a regular basis, some from Muslim countries, and the first thing they want to do over the weekend is gather together with other students and go travel around Bangkok or the rest of Thailand or neighboring countries. I think they're no different than any other millennials. My children are the same thing too. As when they start traveling, they just want more of it. They
Yeah.
want to go and discover new places. And I guess they're more adventurous than we were, or at least certainly when I was their age. Yeah.
Cool. Elena? Mike?
I think what we also notice with the younger generation is they do country hopping.
Right.
They
Yeah.
wouldn't visit only one destination where previous generation or
They want to see as
or
much
us.
as possible,
Yes,
yeah.
they want to pack as much as possible in 10 days.
Because they don't have to take children around with them, they can just go.
yeah, exactly.
Interesting. I think at this point we might open up to the floor for questions. Do we have any questions for the panel? Great. Gentleman here, could we grab the mic, please? Please say your name, that would be really good, and who your question's for, if possible. 2 questions we've got.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Majid Tsai from Chinese Muslim Association in Taiwan. I just came here to share you all about the Chinese Muslim community for the future trends of the traveling experience. As we know that the Chinese now is going to traveling over the world, overseas, and buying a lot. So shopping for Chinese is very important reason, especially for Muslim Chinese, as a Chinese Muslim community. We have 500 million people in Taiwan and 40 million in mainland China. When we traveling over the countries, we go to shopping station because we want to buy something for our families. As China, we have a one children policy. In the recent year, just open for you can have a second children or even more. But in the Muslim area in China, which is not under this policy. So actually, in the Muslim area in China, we have many children like GCC people. So I just here to share that if some destinations or any countries who can create proper shopping stations for our travel agency or our Muslim traveler to have a shopping and creating more halal certified product, which will be very good for us because even when we're traveling to Europe, to Africa, even those things are made in China. We buy the souvenirs and we remove the sticker and we go home. Let's say this one is from Europe or from Africa to our family.
That's a good point, actually.
So it's a very important thing for even for the younger generations. Maybe we like more adventures, but still we should buy some gift for our families.
And something authentic from that place.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
let's I just want to share to all our
Thank you. Actually,
delegates.
we had a lot of questions about the Chinese market this morning, so there's definitely a lot of interest there. Thank you. Did we have it? We had another question from the lady at the front here.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It's not actually the question. I would like to recommend Bosnia and Herzegovina as a country in the Europe where you can have a halal travels, halal tours for young, old, all ages. It's a beautiful country with beautiful nature, unique experience you can have in the country. And you can also combine Bosnia with other Balkan countries like Croatia, Slovenia, Montenegro. I would like to welcome you to Bosnia. Thank you.
Mario.
I have a question actually for the gentleman from China.
Oh, this is good, yeah.
Because yesterday I went in a shopping mall, a local shopping mall, looking for something authentic. And I found something I really like. And I turned it back. It was actually made in China. So, would you still buy it?
You know,
Just
this
take
is
the
very,
sticker off.
This is very something interesting that we all know that now most of things that we can find it is made in China, but we still buying us support our our country, our nation planning we call Belt and Road. So in the Belt and Road, we found that actually there's many Muslim countries, including this plan. So I just share another experience to you now that what we are going to do here in Taiwan. For this coming Ramadan, we already cooperate with Carrefour in Taiwan, 60 branch. For the coming Ramadan, we will have a halal section for the local Muslim and also Muslim travelers who come to Taiwan to provide the halal meat, also the dates, tamar, and everything import from all the Muslim countries. We also will build some prayer room. So according to Sir's your question, that actually yes. For myself, I think I come to Dubai. I want to buy something from the Emirates, maybe like dates or camel milk powder, something like this. But my family, they like chocolate. Okay, so maybe I will buy some chocolates. They actually is not from Dubai, from Europe, or just located sold in the Dubai Mall. From Belgica or Europe, from Italy, okay, no problem, I will buy it. So it doesn't matter that's made in China or not made in China.
This is great. This is like live research, isn't it? Now we know what Chinese millennials want. Nabil, you wanted to ask something, yeah?
Well, I think it's important. It actually raises an important question, actually, because if you're in a destination that is completely alien to you, you can't read the language, you can't really communicate with locals as easily as you probably could in other places, but you want to take something back authentic, having a little sticker that says halal just goes a million miles. It really does. I'm going to take Japan as an example. I was there 3 weeks ago, and my Japanese is very good now because it had to be. Arigato.
Should we test you?
No. It had to be because nobody else spoke English. And I actually like that. I like that authenticity. And I appreciate the authenticity of something to take home with you because I wanted to take home loads of stuff. I saw lots of little Japanese sweets and whatever, but I had no idea what was in them. I didn't have a clue. And we were making hand signs of, cows and whatever, and they didn't really understand what I was saying. However, got to a little place in Tokyo, in Asakusa, walked down the street, and there was a little souvenir store, and on it they had halal, and I was really a little bit blown away actually. I appreciate I had to pay premium prices for it, but that's fine. I had no problem paying a little bit extra to know that something was halal, and I was able to take home some Japanese rice crackers, some really cool sushi ingredients, and I know it's all legit for my family to have, my friends to have, and I think it's a really good point. So, for destinations that don't necessarily have Muslim majorities, invest in providing takeaways for holiday makers that has some sort of a halal emblem on it. I think it's
Double
really useful.
tick.
Yeah, it's really
Authentic.
useful. Yeah, it's really
And
useful.
halal.
Yep.
Yeah, brilliant. And that, again, it comes back to experiences. That's an experience that, is different, unique, had something authentic.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way it's going in the future, experiences, yeah. I think we're going to have to wrap up there. Is that right, Charlotte? Yeah, because we have another session. Now, we've had a brilliant time this morning. We've had 4 sessions with some amazing, very intelligent, very well-informed panellists. Please, can you give everybody, especially including this panel we've just been on, a big round of applause, please? Thank you.